It was May 23rd, 2025, a Friday. Most folks were thinking about the weekend. Kids were antsy in school, counting minutes. Adults were dreaming of quiet evenings, maybe a barbecue. The sky was a bright, innocent blue. No one looked up expecting trouble. Trouble, though, had its own schedule. It didn't care about weekend plans. It didn't care about innocent blue skies. It was coming. The first signs were small, easy to miss. A flicker on the news tickers. Strange atmospheric lights reported in the southern hemisphere. Scientists hunched over screens saw it first. Their faces went pale. Their coffee grew cold. They knew what was heading our way. For the rest of us, ignorance was bliss, a short-lived fragile bliss, the kind that shatters like glass. Then came the first official warnings, urgent voices on the radio, emergency alerts blaring on phones. The message was stark, unbelievable. An asteroid swarm, not one big rock, many, some small, some big enough to flatten a city, big enough to change the world, or end it. The blue sky suddenly felt like a lie, a cruel joke. People stopped. In their cars, in their kitchens, in their offices, they looked up, searching for something, anything, but the enemy was still invisible. A threat whispered on the wind, a terror taking root in hearts. The day was young, but it felt old, ancient, like a day of reckoning, the day the sky decided to weep fire. The cause was a cluster, a family of space rocks, old as time. They had traveled for eons. Silent, cold, drifting through the black emptiness, their path had been set long ago by gravity, by chance, by something vast and uncaring. Now that path was set to cross ours. A cosmic intersection, a date with destiny or doom. Astronomers called it the Shattered Crown, for the way the main asteroid had broken apart years ago, creating a deadly spray of cosmic bullets. They had tracked the larger pieces, but this cloud of debris was different, harder to see, harder to predict, until it was almost too late. The universe, it seemed, had surprises, nasty ones. It had been lurking just beyond our sight. The warnings painted a grim picture. These weren't just shooting stars, they were city killers, ocean boilers. Some would burn up harmlessly, fiery tears in the atmosphere, but others were too big, too solid. They would hit hard. The calculations were frantic, non-stop. Where would they strike? When? The answers were terrifying, everywhere. Soon. Panic was a slow burn at first, then it flared like a wildfire. The news showed simulations, red dots converging on a blue marble, our blue marble. It was a message from the void, written in rock and ice and speed, a crimson messenger. It said, your time might be up. It said, nothing is forever, not even your world. Fear. It was a taste in every mouth, bitter, cold. It settled in homes, in streets, in the highest offices. Parents held their children tight, telling them stories, lies maybe, that everything would be okay, knowing deep down it might not be. What else could they do? Hope was a tattered flag, but they flew it. The cities began to empty, or try to. Roads clogged, arteries of fear. People moved, not knowing where to go, just away from where the red dots might land. Some prayed, loudly, silently, to any god that might listen. Others cursed the sky, the uncaring stars, the bad luck, the sheer, stupid randomness of it all. Supermarkets were stripped bare, water, canned food, batteries, people hoarded, some shared, some fought. The best of humanity, the worst of it, side by side, in the shadow of the falling sky. Emergency broadcasts droned on, instructions, updates, words that tried to sound calm. But the tremor in the voices was unmistakable. Everyone was scared. Nights were the worst. The darkness felt heavier, the silence deeper, broken by sirens or distant cries, or just the sound of your own heart, thumping like a drum, a death drum perhaps. People stared at the sky, waiting, watching for the first fiery streaks, for the end or for a miracle. The whole world held its breath, a collective silent gasp. Then a flicker of something new, not just fear, a plan, desperate, audacious, born from late nights and endless cups of coffee. Scientists, engineers, astronauts from nations that often argued. Now they worked as one. Their only enemy was time and the rocks, the terrible falling rocks. They would try to meet them up there. The mission was a long shot, a Hail Mary, launching everything they had, rockets, missiles, experimental craft. Their goal to break up the largest threats, to nudge them off course. Even a small change far enough out could mean survival. It was a symphony of human ingenuity, conducted against a ticking clock, a clock that ticked with the rhythm of doom. The world watched, glued to screens, not for movies, not for games, for reality, for the live feeds from space. Tiny lights arcing towards other, angrier lights, explosions in the void, silent, beautiful, terrifying. Each flash was a question mark. Did it work? Was it enough? The tension was a wire, stretched to breaking, pulling everyone taut, and then slowly the reports came in. Successes, partial successes. Some impacts were inevitable, smaller ones in remote areas, but the big ones, the civilization enders, many were deflected, shattered. Humanity had stood on the razor's edge and by a hair's breadth had not fallen. The dawn that followed was the most beautiful anyone had ever seen. A dawn we almost didn't. We survived, bruised, battered, but alive, and maybe, just maybe, a little wiser.